Okay, hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm super excited to be recording my last video of the year. If you have been here before, thank you for watching. If you're new, welcome to my channel. My name is Reagan, and I have been doing a little, as we know, 11-week saga of YouTube videos every week. Kind of just posting like, I didn't really know the direction I wanted to go when I started it, like I did, but obviously these videos have been more informal. And today is going to be wrapping up that kind of like intro because next year I want to actually start doing things a bit more proper. So it's going to be a couple weeks until my next video. But anyways, today I figured in the spirit of the new year that we would get into talking about how everything went for me this year and things that I learned and like lessons that I reflected on and things that I'm kind of trying to change moving forward into 2025 that I think could be relevant for you guys to hear about, or maybe you're just interested in my life and want to hear my life story. I don't know. I'm sure there's so many of you just dying to know. I'm kidding. But I don't know. Honestly, I recorded this video already yesterday and it ended up being like 30 minutes long, and I was just like tweaking during it because I have so much like excited energy for next year, and a lot of the stuff that happened this year is actually like really mind-blowing when I think back on it, and I was kind of just going over everything I experienced and just feeling like very overwhelmed with kind of joy, and also just again it's just like so crazy some of the things that happened to me, and I feel like there's no coincidence that that happened at the same time that I was trying to make a lot of changes and was like shifting myself energetically and improving a lot in areas of my life. But you know, in the recent few weeks, I have learned or like reflected and realized that like I have learned a lot and healed a lot, but there's still like a long ways to go with the healing. And one of my lessons this year that I've learned is that like I can't rush this journey. Like you cannot think your way into feeling your emotions. And feeling your emotions is like the core of actually moving past like blocks and subconscious beliefs that hold you back. And I have just been struggling with that lately. So anyways, but I just wanted to re-record and be a little more concise and like not as spazzy. I have very spastic energy sometimes. Is actually like just like an electron just pinging off of walls. Um, but I figure it's good that I'm in a bit more mellow of a mood because I've been like fucking stressed out for the past like 7 hours. But it's okay. I'm here and alive. Um, so the crazy things that I was talking about for this year, kind of the main ones, I started with saying how this time last year I came across an account called Monica Yates. She's obviously like, you know, a coach, mentor, whatever. She's really fucking good at what she does. And coming across her account actually triggered the shit out of me. I was like, fuck this woman. Like, fuck you. I don't want to hear the shit that you have to say. And I like ignored her account the first time it came across my page. But then she came across my page again, and I was like, oh my god, fuck, I'll give her the time of day, whatever. And then that turned into me listening to her podcast, which turned into obviously like a lot of realizations and changes, and like actually, you know, reflecting on myself and making some shifts, and like, you know, basically just getting me to a point where I like wanted to kind of have an extra catalyst to like move me through some of these emotions and like the hard things and processing, which is again like the core issue of a lot of people's problems. And like I'm the same type of way with that. Like everyone has shit from their past or like external societal expectations like inborn in your subconscious that like you don't even know is there until you actually start to like think about it and someone brings it to attention, which is something that really pisses me off because I feel like knowing a lot of this information is extremely beneficial, and it also makes a lot of logical sense as someone who is very very analytical and logically minded, like very scientific brain type of thing. Now knowing the reality of our inner worlds and how it like projects into our external reality and how kind of simple it is, like the equation that got us here, it like really fucking pisses me off because it makes so much sense, and it just fucking whatever, pisses me off. So anyways, I came across Monica, and I actually signed up for an event with her, in March is when I like signed up for it. The event was in May. Paid for this event, whatever, and within 10 days of that, like I actually felt like paying for it was committing to, like the growth and like putting time and energy and money into myself and like actually making a shift to invest my attention towards my internal growth as I had wanted to do, after uncovering all of this stuff and learning about it and whatever. And I also know that she's really fucking good at her job. So, and before this, I was like very skeptical of like life coaching or mentorship. I feel like it's just bullshit. Like back then, I thought it was just like bullshit and people are just scamming you and it's just like a thing that you do like if you are naive and dumb. But like there's so much value to be had from actually like investing time and energy into people who are somewhere where you want to be and like know how to like work through things with you to, you know, speed along your journey kind of. So anyways, within 10 days of paying for this event, I entered a raffle at the UConn Big East quarterfinal game at MSG? Yes, Madison Square Garden in New York City. Do you know how many people were at this game? Like it was literally like all the quarterfinal games for the Big East. Like and I went up to a booth who happened to have someone that I knew working there, and then she was the one who kind of told me to like enter this raffle thing, so I did. And out of all of those people, out of literally every single person there who entered this raffle, which was like a 2 second thing, like a lot of people probably did it. It was like really easy and obviously free. I ended up winning a $500 gift card, like the grand prize winner of a $500 gift card from that raffle and event. And that was one of the first things that had me like, that's crazy odds. Like that's weird and that's suspicious. That's weird. And I just like I was a bit I don't know, I was just like, whoa, that's crazy. What the fuck? Like maybe the energetic shifts actually are real. And like I've heard of not just through Monica's work, but like other people as well, or just like podcasts and things like that. People talking about how like you start to shift your attention and energy like inward and towards yourself and invest in yourself, and like the universe fucking responds accordingly. Like Jesus Christ. And that was kind of my first example of it, and I really felt like I don't know, like it just. I was just like, that's wild. I don't really think that's a coincidence. Call me crazy, but I don't think that's a coincidence. So that was the next crazy thing that happened. Again, paid for this in March. 10 days later, one little raffler entered the raffle thing. I ended up winning. And then, this is fucking wild. A month later, I was just scrolling Tinder, whatever, matched with someone I already like knew of, didn't really know, and he literally ended up being like my soulmate. He's my boyfriend right now, obviously. And I just think it's so wild that I met him on Tinder. Like, that's so crazy because I am not a Tinder person and he is not a Tinder person either. Like, if you get the vibe that I'm saying, like, I'm really not like that at all. So, it was just so bizarre to me that we matched then, or like on Tinder. And I also think it's crazy the timing of us matching because I feel like I had done work on myself enough and like learned and grown more, both for the perspective of like a relationship and also just like general internal state, that I feel like if I met him any earlier, like it wouldn't have been like perfect timing. Like I really feel like I met him at the perfect time. And I say that because we lived 4 minutes apart all of senior year. Like I had Tinder, I don't even know, like later in the fall senior semester or something. He got it like a couple months later. So there was like a solid 4 to 5 month overlap in when we had this app and both of us using it like normally, not like fiends, obviously. Um, and like nothing really came of it at all. And you think I downloaded Tinder expecting to meet someone like that was like genuinely gonna be like my soulmate and like future husband? Like no, I did not expect that at all. And like the timing of it was just it's just so crazy. And again, I feel like it's not coincidental that like you start doing this work and then all this crazy shit happens. And it's so crazy for me to reflect back on because like saying it out loud, like it feels normal to me at this point. Like yeah, like oh, that happened, okay, like I know, like he's my boyfriend now, we've been dating for like 7 months, like I know. But it's also at the same time like what the fuck? I met my soulmate on Tinder? Like, huh? Pause. Like, that is crazy. That's crazy to me. Again, not coincidental, I don't think. With the work that I did and like investing in myself and the time I put into actually shifting my energy towards one that seemed to be more connected to myself. So once again, crazy. Even crazier with that, again, we were overlapping for months on that app, both using it. We never matched. We never came up on each other's pages. We were even together on a small trip with just like Yukon Rec, going on a ski trip, much less people, much smaller radius, and we still didn't even match then. And we both said we like checked the app during that time too. Like, what the fuck, guys? What the fuck? It's crazy. So that happened. Um, in the summer, I came across like another podcast that kind of like fucking blew my like world view into pieces. Not in a bad way, just like I don't know, more realizations, more shifts and growth. And I don't know. The summer I worked my internship, did not love the internship, but I realized looking back that because I was so bored during my internship, I had so much time to listen to podcasts and I had so much time to keep growing. I literally have a notebook. Pause. Ugh! Oh my god. Sorry if you just heard my back crack. I have a notebook full of like podcast notes. Like this is all from me just working and just like taking notes on stuff because there was no work to be done and like no work to be had for me. Sorry if my hair was just on the mic. And like I wouldn't have again like learned all of these things, like taken note of all of this stuff if I wasn't working a job that gave me like the time to do that. And I also wouldn't have known or like been pushed out of that type of field and that type of work and away from the path that I thought I had to be on if I did not fucking hate that job. Like I'm sorry, respectfully, like nothing against the people, nothing against the job. It was just not for me. Like not the structure I wanted, not the type of work I wanted, was not really extremely passionate about the work that I was doing. Like it just worked out. In the moment it fucking sucked. But, again, some of the podcasts I listened to telling me that or like I realized that like you have to go through shit experiences to realize what you don't want. Because when you realize what you don't want, that's such a powerful tool for realizing what you do want. So that was a blessing in disguise, even though I have plenty of like I record voice memos to myself sometimes, like whatever, and I have plenty of them where I'm just like in the car driving home, like, I am never fucking working a job that sucks my soul like this, like freaking out. So yeah, you can say I was not exactly overly pleased with the job. Anywho, um, again, that whole summer, like everything I learned, I got to a place where I was at like the edge of a bunch of decisions, right? Like edge of going to grad school, edge of like applying to a different grad program, edge of staying at my like internship job until like I go to grad school or like the plan with them, whatever. A lot of stuff was up in the air, but I always knew in my soul I wanted to do something with environmental and like in the environmental field. And I had just had so much self-doubt and worry because I didn't want to like upset anyone for going on a different path or like make the people at my job upset that I like didn't really want to go back or like upset the professor that I was already set up to do research with. Like I was just so concerned about so many things. But I actually on the edge of this, cliff of decisions or like this split of paths that I could go, I am so glad that I was able to make a really good decision for myself that ended up putting me in a place that is better than I could have ever imagined. So I know I talked about it in my first video, but I worked the internship. I decided to not go back to grad school this year. I decided to not go back for mechanical engineering in the first place. My same as undergrad is what I plan to do. Um, and I actually gave myself what was planned to be 6 weeks off of work between the internship and when I was either like planning to go back or they were gonna like tell me if I could come back or whatever. Um, 6 weeks between then, like a time to actually rest and rejuvenate and recharge from like still the burnout that I experienced in college. Cause like again, end of 2023, I was like, holy fuck, I just like, what the fuck was that? I have done so much work in the past year and I am the shell of a human being. Um, it takes a while to come off stuff like that. Again, something I realized this year. Like, if you are trying to regulate a nervous system or undo old patterns of thinking, like, girl, you're not getting it done in a year. Never mind like a few months. Like, oh my god, the expectations that I had are crazy. I'm trying to shed perfectionism as well. into 2025, because that's just like I need to fucking cut the shit on that. Like, holy shit. Um, but anywho, deciding to take that break led me to a point where I actually felt really lost during that time. After like my 6 weeks was up, and after I told the company that I worked for, hey, I'm not coming back, like it works out better for both of us, because it does. Um, I was like, oh shit, like I gotta actually start fucking looking for a job now. What if no one wants to hire me? What if like my skills and background not applying directly to the job is gonna keep me from getting a job? Like what if, blah, 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 all this what ifs and worries and just a bunch of shit. Um, and I was applying to jobs. The very first job I applied to, I got a response within a day, and I thought that this job was like the perfect thing for me. It was like the description seemed to be exactly what I wanted, like the type of work, and like the recruiter is really nice, but like the recruiter was also like one of the main engineers. They're like a little understaffed. Still a very good company. But anyways, I got a response within a day. That gave me hope. That was like, oh my fucking god, this is gonna work out. This is gonna be perfect. Like I could totally do this. And then there were just several factors that just kept delaying like the next intro call or like the next in-person interview or whatever. And like the process for actually getting an answer to that job ended up taking like almost 5-6 weeks, like a long time, pretty much. Like I applied end of September and I didn't hear back until November 1st. So like kind of brutal. Um, but anyways, I thought this job was like the thing, like that I was gonna work. This is gonna be so incredible if it worked out. Like everything would fall into place perfectly. Everything's gonna align. Like I'm gonna be seen as successful, and it's gonna be great and beautiful and perfect. In reality, now looking back, I've realized like the value that I have in looking back, and like the lesson that I learned is like if you think that something's gonna work out perfectly for you, like you have the idea of like this thing is perfect. No, I need this to happen. Like this job is so perfect and aligned for me. Like I swear I need this so bad. And like you have to wait a while or like something's not working out. That is because something better is coming along. Like something way better is coming along. So as you could probably guess, um, within the period between waiting for a response from that job and what ended up happening, there was like a good amount of gaps. And this is when I started my YouTube channel. This is when I started posting, because I got to a point where I was uncomfortable enough that I finally just decided to full send and put my little phone on like on top of a Lego set that I have yet to build because there's no space for it, and just start yapping and start actually putting myself out there and posting on social media, because I had the time, I had the flexibility, and I wanted to do it. I just wanted to finally actually commit to it and just do it and just start. Like, what the fuck is the harm? I have nothing to lose. So that time of discomfort pushed me to actually start my channel and make that first video about post-grad despair, which actually I feel like helped and connected to a lot of people who are experiencing the same type of thing, which then continues to inspire me to want to create videos that can help people, that they can relate to me and like the content that I make and like the message that I have and the experience that I have to share. So all of that stuff wouldn't have happened if I wasn't in this weird limbo period of like discomfort and feeling like I wasn't good enough or something wasn't working out, and like this job was, I'm never gonna get a job and I'm just gonna be like unemployed forever. Deep fucking breaths, Reagan. Like, Jesus Christ. Because you know what ended up happening while waiting for that job? In that period, waiting to hear back after like the in-person interview, which I thought went really well, and I was just like pending an answer for so long. Now I know. Thank God I was, because I applied to another job, other jobs as well, within that time frame that I was like in between like interviewing and waiting to hear back. And this job got back to me. Well, I actually sent a follow-up email to a few, but they got back to me the same day as I sent a follow-up email to be like, hey, did you look at my application? Like, haha. And they said, oh, we haven't gotten to it yet. We'll let you know when we get to it. That same day, a recruiter got back to me and said we want to schedule a phone call. That same day, or like within a few days of that, I had the phone call with the recruiter, and I actually, got set up for like the next round interview. Got the in-person interview like 2 days later, got the offer for that job 2 days after that, and that's the job I'm working right now. And a day after I got that job, for the job that, or like I got rewind, the day after I got the offer for the job that I have now is when that first company that I thought was going to be perfect got back to me. And I already accepted like the first job because the pay was like Oh, good. With respect to like being a mechanical engineer going into an environmental field that generally is not necessarily as high of salaries in the first place, like I'm so happy with how it worked out. And the job offer I ended up getting from the first job was for $10,000 less. Like, you can't make that shit up. Everything that happened happened exactly how it had to happen. Like, looking back, it makes so much sense. Something that Monica says is that she got from someone else. So, like, it's just a normal phrase. Um, is you can't connect the dots going forwards. You can only connect the dots going backwards. And that's exactly how I felt about this whole year. Like, everything that has happened, everything has fallen into place. Like, all the shit that I dealt with and, like, felt and worked through and like put time into, and everything that just felt like it was so up in the air, like everything was happening in perfect time for perfect reason. Every single thing happens to you for a reason. And you know what, I'm kind of giving myself a pep talk right now, because once again, I've been so stressed out today, and I've been thinking that I need to make these like perfect fucking New Year's reflections and like energetically prepare for like what I want and how I'm gonna get it, like the action steps, and like it's giving me OCD trying to figure out like a perfect template to put all this in, and like online versus a journal, like OCD stuff. I don't actually have OCD, but you know, I just whatever. Um, at least I don't think so. But anyways, like it all works out in the end. Everything is working out in your favor at all times. Like it doesn't feel like it, but you're either growing, you're either getting like, you know, like the success and the experience you want, or like where you want to be, or you're learning a lesson, or you're being shown like places that you still have to work on within yourself. Does that make sense? Like everything happens for a reason, and that is such a beautiful like safety net to lie back on when things just seem to be going to absolute fucking shit. Because it doesn't mean that everything's actually going to shit and like your life's burning on fire, even though it feels like it, and you're entitled to feel like that. But like it always ends up being better in the end. Like it always ends up being better in the end. And even as unsure as you feel, like in the moment, like something really, really good and beautiful is coming around the corner. You just gotta keep faith. Life is just a bunch of life is based around polarity, right? Good and bad, light and dark, blah 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 blah. Like you could list 18,000 other like pairs. Um, but life would not be as exciting, as fulfilling if it was just boring and all the same and everything was perfect all the time. Like I see the variance in like my mental state and like my life and like the quality of different things, or like everything that happens. I see all of the difference between that as something that is, I just killed R2D2, as something that is a beautiful thing to experience. I'm sorry, I made myself laugh. But it's a beautiful thing to experience the polarity of like both sides of it, because it makes you really appreciate like the human experience and actually like feeling through all of your emotions and enjoying them. So that was kind of my whole rant for today. It's probably shorter than 30 minutes, but I mean, who fucking knows at this point? I set up this camera, I sit on the bed, and then time just warps at maximum speed, and then I've talked for like 35 minutes, so who knows? But, anyways, I'm really excited and happy, and also really proud of myself for making these and consistently recording, even when I was like busy and stuff. That sounds really dumb because, like, yeah, duh, you have to do shit when you're busy. But now I'm really proud that I actually created these videos and stuck with it. And it's giving me, like, a baseline inspiration and ideas for moving forward. I've always had a vision, and, like, I've realized I don't really want to, like, share all of the goals and the dreams and ideas that I have, because, like, first off, once you share them, I feel like you get the same type of adrenaline rush that you would from actually doing it. So, like, I don't want to, like, fucking shank myself from my dreams by, like, telling everyone I'm gonna do it and then, like, not doing it. I also don't want to say I'm gonna do a bunch of stuff and then feel like I have to do them, even if it doesn't feel like in alignment with what I want to do or share anymore, because, like, just because I said it, now I have to do it. And you know, I also feel like, again, I have a lot of healing to still do, but given the place that I've gotten now, or the place that I am compared to where it was a year ago, like I feel pretty fucking qualified to talk about like some of the baseline topics that like I feel I've kind of either mastered or really understand well. And I also am excited to like do more research and invest more time into topics and information and actual factual like scientific evidence to support a lot of the things that I've learned about. basically, I'm just saying that next year is going to be better than this year. I already know that it is. And I'm really excited to keep growing, and I'm really excited to keep posting on this channel and whatever other platforms I post on. So thank you. Truly, like truly from the depths of my heart to, even if you're just watching for the first time, but also to the people who have watched like even from the beginning and who've supported me and even just given like small words of encouragement or just like a little ping, even if I've like barely ever talked to you and you still like slide open my story, reach out to me or something, thank you so much, because it actually means the world to me to know that my videos and my posting and my content like actually help some people, or like, you know, they're entertained by it and just all the like, because even if these videos helped one person, I'd be so happy. Like you're making a difference in someone else's life, similar to how like other people have made a difference in mine, is something that I think is just such a beautiful blessing, and I feel like that's what I want to be kind of my focus for these videos and my content moving forward. So thank you so much for being here. I hope that everyone has a fantastic New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, and that you get to experience and enjoy everything that you would like to in 2025. Please remember, for New Year's resolutions, do not make them like miles unrealistically, like don't, if you're trying to make change, this is also a lecture to myself right now, don't try to make it like a massive shift, because you're setting yourself up for failure. It's not to say you can't get there, but you have to get there with small steps. So be careful and mindful and discerning about the goals that you're setting and how you're actually going to achieve them by making those small changes to get you there, because that's what is going to actually get you growth and results. Again, also speaking to myself right now. So thank you so much for being here. I hope that everyone has a fantastic night. Go be your most organic selves, and I will see you next year. Bye, guys.